Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is Anita Anand with the Midday News. The headlines. India achieves landmark milestone with over 75,000 startups recognized so far. Lok Sabha adjourned till 2 p.m. amidst ruckus by Congress, DMK and left members. India to have road infrastructure like America by 2024, says Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari in Rajya Sabha. Government says digital payment transactions register unprecedented growth in the country. Nearly 3,300 crore transactions recorded in current financial year so far. Bombay High Court transfers probe into the 2015 killing of activist Govind Pansare from SIT to ATS Maharashtra. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu flags off a Har Ghar Tiranga bike rally by members of Parliament from the historic Red Fort in Delhi. Suresh N. Patel sworn in as the Central Vigilance Commissioner. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reaches Cambodia for the India-ASEAN ministerial meeting. U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi meets Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen in Taipei. China condemns visit and vows to undertake targeted military operations. And in Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, India's star players Nikat Zareen, Manpreet Kaur, Mridul Borgohain and Mohammad Hasmuddin and women's cricket team to be in action today. And now the news in detail. India has achieved a landmark milestone of 75,000 recognized startups. Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT, has recognized more than 75,000 startups, which is a milestone coinciding with the 75th year of independence. Ministry of Commerce and Industry said in a tweet that the Indian startup ecosystem continues to be fueled by innovation, enthusiasm and entrepreneurial spirit. During the Independence Day speech in 2015, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had envisioned a new India which taps on the entrepreneurial potential of its people. On 16 January 2016, the date which has now been declared as the National Startup Day, a program was initiated to lay out an action plan to build a strong ecosystem for nurturing innovation and startups in the country. 6 years later, the action plan has successfully turned India into the third largest startup ecosystem. The initial 10,000 startups were recognized in 808 days, whereas the latest 10,000 were achieved in only 156 days. Commerce Ministry said more than 80 startups are getting recognized per day. Lok Sabha has been adjourned till 2 p.m. amidst continued sloganeering against the government over the misuse of central agencies and other issues. As soon as the House met after their first adjournment at 12 noon, Congress and DMK members trooped into the well of the House, raising slogans. The chair wanted to run the 0 hour, but amidst din, the chair adjourned the proceedings till 2 p.m. Shortly before the adjournment, Power Minister R.K. Singh introduced the Energy Conservation Amendment Bill 2022 in the House. Earlier, as soon as the House met for the day, Congress and DMK members trooped into the well of the House shouting slogans. The agitated members were shouting against the ED rates. The Speaker, Om Birla, tried to run the question hour, but in vain. Amidst din, Mr. Birla adjourned the House till noon.
India will have road infrastructure like America by 2024. 26 green highways are being built connecting different parts of the country to create robust road infrastructure. Replying to supplementaries in the Rajya Sabha during the question hour today, Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari said,
हिंदुस्तान में आने वाले 3 साल के अंदर 2024 समाप्त होने के पहले मैं 26 ग्रीन एक्सप्रेस हाईवे बना रहा हूँ. दिल्ली से देहरादून 2 घंटे में, दिल्ली से हरिद्वार 2 घंटे में, दिल्ली से जयपुर 2 घंटे में, दिल्ली से चंडीगढ़ 2.5 घंटे में, दिल्ली से अमृतसर 4 घंटे में, दिल्ली से कटरा 6 घंटे में, दिल्ली से श्रीनगर 8 घंटे में, दिल्ली से मुंबई 12 घंटे में और चेन्नई से बेंगलोर 2 घंटे में, लखनऊ से कानपुर 35 मिनट में और मेरठ में ऑलरेडी हो गया है. अब 40 मिनट में आ रहे हैं. नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में 2024 समाप्त होने के पहले हिंदुस्तान का रोड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अमेरिका के बराबर होगा.
The minister asserted that there is no dearth of funds for construction of road infrastructure in the country. Security situation in the northeastern states has improved substantially as the number of insurgency incidents reduced by 74% last year in comparison to 2014. 89% reduction has been witnessed in civilian deaths and 60% in casualties of security forces in the year 2021. This was stated by the Minister of State for Home, Nityanand Rai, in a written reply in the Rajya Sabha today. The minister said over 6,000 cadres of various insurgent groups of northeastern states have surrendered since 2014 till 15th of last month.
A total of 29,806 recruitments have been carried out in the public sector in Jammu and Kashmir since 2019. This was stated by the Minister of State for Home, Nityanand Rai, in a written reply in the Rajya Sabha today. The minister said employment for over 5 lakh people is estimated to have been created through self-employment schemes from 2019 till June this year. Replying to another query, Mr. Rai said a new central scheme is being implemented for industrial development of Jammu and Kashmir with an outlay of 28,400 crore rupees, which would provide employment to 4,50,000 people. The Union Government today said digital payment transactions have registered unprecedented growth in the country. In a written reply in the Lok Sabha, Minister of State for Electronics and Information Technology, Rajiv Chandrasekhar said, easy and convenient modes of digital payment such as Bharat Interface for Money Unified Payments Interface BHIM UPI, Immediate Payments Service IMPS, Prepaid Payment Instruments PPIs and National Electronic Toll Collection NETC system have registered substantial growth. Mr. Chandrasekhar said these have transformed digital payment ecosystem by increasing person-to-person as well as person-to-merchant payments. He said BHIM UPI has emerged as the preferred payment mode of users. The total number of over 8,800 crore digital payment transactions undertaken during 2021-22 and nearly 3,300 crore in the current financial year up to 24th of last month. The minister said Indian consumers have displayed great affinity to digital technology, leading to rate growth in digital payment infrastructure.
The government today said it is continuously reviewing the services and taking appropriate steps to offer customer and business-centric value addition to the services of the Department of Posts. In a written reply in the Lok Sabha, Minister of State for Communications, Devusingh Chauhan, said there is a decline in the traffic of letter mail due to mobile and internet penetration. However, there is an increase in the speed post and international mail business. He said total speed post traffic has increased from over 21 crore in the year 2008 to 9 to around 43 crore in 2021 to 22, and accountable international mail traffic has increased from around 51 lakh in 2020 to about 81 lakh in 2021. A parliamentary panel has suggested to achieve 24/7 power for all and the financial viability of distribution companies DISCOMs is of utmost importance. The panel headed by Rajiv Ranjan Singh tabled its report in the parliament yesterday. The report said it is of paramount importance that the honest consumers should get quality, reliable and uninterrupted power supply at reasonable rates. The committee members are also of the opinion that the distribution sector needs to be made more transparent, responsive and accountable. The central government should examine the matter as to how we can gradually move to cost-reflective tariff without increasing the burden on the common man. The committee desired that the audit system of DISCOMs needs to be improved and strengthened for better transparency. Simultaneously, interventions such as time of day tariff should be deployed as an important demand-side management measure to incentivize consumers to shift a portion of their load from peak times to off-peak times, thereby improving the system load factor by reducing the demand on the system during peak period. This can be implemented by DISCOMs to reduce their expenses and for better utilization of generation resources.
Indian Railways has recorded best ever July monthly freight loading of over 122 million tons last month. The incremental loading in July has been 9.3 million ton, a growth of 8.25% over the previous best July figures achieved in 2021. With this, Indian Railways has had 23 straight months of best ever monthly freight loading. Railways has achieved an incremental loading of 11.54 million tons in coal, followed by 1.22 million tons in balance other goods, 0.56 million tons each in cement and clinker and containers, and 0.47 million tons in POL. Increase in automobile loading has been another highlight of freight business in financial year 2022-23, and 1,698 rakes have been loaded in financial year 2022-23 till July, as compared to 994 rakes during the same period of last year, which is a growth of 71%. The Bombay High Court today directed to transfer communist leader Govind Pansare's murder investigation from Special Investigation Team of Maharashtra Police to Maharashtra Anti-Terrorism Squad. Pansare and his wife were attacked on 16th of February 2015 by gun-wielding assailants in Kolhapur district. He later died of his injuries on 20th of February. Pansare's kin had sought transfer of probe, alleging that no efforts were made to reach the real masterminds so far. During the hearing, Justice Revti Dere said that she will be passing an order transferring the investigation from the SIT to the ATS. She also said that a few officers from the SIT will also be transferred to ATS for continuity of the investigation.
The Enforcement Directorate has attached assets worth 415 crore rupees of arrested Maharashtra builders Avinash Bhosle and Sanjay Chhabria in the Yes Bank DHFL Bank loan fraud linked money laundering case. The probe agency had issued a provisional attachment order under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act to attach the assets of Avinash Bhosle worth over 164 crore rupees and Sanjay Chhabria's assets worth 251 crore rupees. Both the builders are currently in the judicial custody. The total attachment in this case now stands at 1,827 crore rupees.
Suresh N. Patel was today sworn in as the Central Vigilance Commissioner. He made subscribe the oath of his office before President Draupadi Murmu at a ceremony held at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Law Minister Kiran Rijiju, Leader of Opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge, and other dignitaries were present on the occasion. Over 204 crore 84 lakh total vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. Over 23 lakh 49,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. India's active caseload currently stands at little over 1 lakh 37,000. The recovery rate is currently at 98.49%. A total of 19,823 recoveries in the last 24 hours have increased the total recoveries to more than 4 crore 34 lakh. 17,135 new cases were recorded in the last 24 hours.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. India achieved landmark milestone with over 75,000 startups recognized so far. Lok Sabha adjourned till 2 p.m. amidst ruckus by Congress, DMK and left members. India to have road infrastructure like America by 2024, says Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari in Rajya Sabha. Government says digital payment transactions register unprecedented growth in the country. Nearly 3,300 crore transactions recorded in current financial year so far. Bombay High Court transfers probe into 2015 killing of activist Govind Pansare from SIT to ATS Maharashtra. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu flags off a Har Ghar Tiranga bike rally by members of Parliament from the historic Red Fort in Delhi. Suresh N. Patel sworn in as the Central Vigilance Commissioner. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reaches Cambodia for the India-ASEAN Ministerial Meeting. U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi meets Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen in Taipei. China condemns visit and vows to undertake targeted military operations. In Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, India's star players Nikhar Zareen, Manpreet Kaur, Mridul Borgohain and Mohammad Hasmuddin and women's cricket team to be in action today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
आकाशवाणी आपके लिए लेकर आया है कार्यक्रम एक कदम और बुजुर्गों के लिए। 7 अगस्त को प्रसारित होने वाले हमारे कार्यक्रम का विषय है वरिष्ठ जन के लिए बैंकिंग सुविधाएं। आप अपने सवाल हमें 4 अगस्त तक भेज सकते हैं। हमारा व्हाट्सएप नंबर है 9289094044। आप अपने सवाल हमें इस पते पर ईमेल भी कर सकते हैं, एक कदम और airnews@gmail.com।
कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स की तैयारी कर रहे स्टूडेंट्स के लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो लाया है अभ्यास, एक ऐसा प्रोग्राम जहां आपकी जिज्ञासा को लगेगा विराम, क्योंकि व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 या फिर abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर भेजे आपके सवालों के जवाब हमारे एक्सपर्ट शनिवार रात 9:30 बजे देते हैं। इस बार का विषय है पॉलिटिकल साइंस, तो आप रेडी हो जाएं अपने सवालों के साथ। रवाना कर दें हमें जल्द से जल्द। अंतिम तारीख 3 अगस्त। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back to the Midday News on All India Radio. The 3-day Monetary Policy Committee MPC meeting began today in Mumbai in the presence of RBI Governor Shaktikant Das and other MPC members. The MPC will announce its bi-monthly monetary policy on Friday. The MPC will discuss the policy for financial year 2022-23. After keeping the policy rates unchanged for almost 2 years, the Apex Bank has continued the rate hike cycle this year. The RBI is expected to increase the key rates again in this policy, taking the cue from US Federal Reserve as it is facing the biggest challenge of controlling the rising inflation. In West Bengal, a state cabinet reshuffle is set to take place this afternoon in the wake of Partha Chatterjee's removal from the cabinet in a financial corruption case. Governor La Ganeshan will administer the oath to the new ministers in the presence of Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee at 4 p.m. at the Raj Bhavan Hall in Kolkata.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today arrived in Cambodia for the Indian-ASEAN ministerial meeting. He visited Siem Reap, where Archaeological Survey of India ASI experts are doing conservation work. Dr. Jaishankar said Minister of External Affairs is proud to support these efforts. He visited the 12th century Taprom temple currently undergoing conservation. Dr. Jaishankar met High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy and Vice President of European Commission Josep Borrell Fontelius at the Taprom Temple conservation site. Mr. Fontelius appreciated the work being done by India there.
United States House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi today met Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen in Taipei following a meeting with senior lawmakers. According to media reports, Ms. Pelosi, along with 6 other U.S. lawmakers, arrived in Taiwan yesterday in an unannounced yet highly anticipated visit protested by Beijing. At a joint news conference in Taipei, Ms. Pelosi played down the controversy around her visit to China and said Beijing had not responded similarly when other U.S. legislators visited earlier this year. In April, 6 top U.S. lawmakers made a surprise visit to Taiwan. The cross-party delegation included Democratic Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chairman Bob Menendez and Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. She addressed Taiwan's parliament and met Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen this morning. Speaking on the occasion, she said the entire U.S. is united in support of Taiwan. She said the U.S. will not backtrack from its commitment to stand with Taiwan.
It's important to remind some and inform others of how we are here. 43 years ago, with the Taiwan Relations Act, America made a bedrock promise to always stand with Taiwan. And on this strong foundation, we have built a thriving partnership, grounded in our shared values of self-government and self-determination, focused on our mutual security interests in the region and across the world, committed to the economic ties that power prosperity for all of our people.
China strongly condemned the U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan yesterday, despite China's stern warnings, and vowed to take targeted military operations as countermeasures. The visit risks triggering a major crisis between China and the U.S., as China had threatened of serious consequences if Pelosi, the highest-ranking U.S. official to travel to Taiwan in 25 years, went ahead with her visit. Chinese Foreign Ministry, in a statement after she landed in Taipei, said this is a serious violation of the One China principle and the provisions of the 3 China-US joint communiques. It seriously infringed upon China's sovereignty and territorial integrity and gravely undermines peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait, it said.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu flagged off a Har Ghar Tiranga bike rally by members of Parliament from the historic Red Fort in Delhi this morning.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव सचमुच में ये अगस्त 15 को समाप्त होगा, इसलिए दिस प्रेशियस मोमेंट मस्ट रिमाइंड अस ऑफ काउंटलेस सैक्रिफाइस. देश का एकता के लिए, आजादी के लिए जो महानुभावों ने कुर्बानी दिया, अपना जीवन त्याग किया, इन महानुभावों का हम सब लोग इस समय पे याद रखना है और याद करना है और हमारा बच्चों को याद दिलाना है.
The bike rally from Red Fort to Vijay Chowk was taken out to commemorate Har Ghar Tiranga campaign launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Union Ministers Prahlad Joshi and Piyush Goyal also took part on the occasion. The bike rally will be taken out from Red Fort to Vijay Chowk. Speaking on the occasion, Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur said,
तिरंगा चंद गज का कपड़ा नहीं, तिरंगे की ताकत 130 करोड़ भारतीयों को एकजुट करने की है. और आज आप देख सकते हैं, कोई भी किसी जाति, धर्म, संप्रदाय से हो, सब एकजुट होकर तिरंगा यात्रा में जुटे हैं. बहुत सारे केंद्रीय मंत्री, सांसद, अलग अलग दलों के नेता वो भी इसमें जुड़े हैं. ये संदेश है आज की पीढ़ी को, आने वाली पीढ़ियों को, कि हम सब भारत को एकजुट रखेंगे, भारत को आगे बढ़ाएंगे, भारत को और मजबूत और ताकतवर बनाएंगे.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
3rd of August is the birth anniversary of the freedom fighter Nana Patil, popularly known as Kranti Singh.
Nana Patil was born in 1900 at Sangli, Maharashtra. He was a founding member of the Hindustan Republican Association. In 1919, Patil began his social work with Pratna Samaj. He spent 10 years working for the Pratna Samaj and the Satyashodhak Samaj for the development of depressed classes. He was against the caste system, and throughout his life he fought for the rights of the poor and the farmers.
Patil was imprisoned many times during the struggle with the British Raj. He went underground for 44 months during the Quit India movement in 1942. Nana Patil had been a founder of the revolutionary Prati Sarkar formed in Sangli district of Maharashtra during the Quit India movement. Patil also fought along with Acharya Atre for the creation of the state of Maharashtra. The noble soul breathes his last on 6th December 1976. AIR News salutes the great nationalist.
We remember freedom fighter Devdas Gandhi on his death anniversary. He was the youngest son of Mahatma Gandhi and Kasturba Gandhi. Devdas Gandhi was born on 22nd May 1900 at Durban, South Africa. He did not receive any conventional education, but he was well educated in the real sense. He had inherited Gandhiji's saintliness, judgment, the capacity to go into details, and the desire to be practical.
Devdas Gandhi took part in the non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement and Quit India movement, and was imprisoned 3 times. When Mahatma Gandhi started seeking help for the establishment of Jamia Millia Islamia, Devdas also came forward on the call of Gandhiji. He started teaching Hindi there and also cotton spinning. He made journalism his major activity.
In 1920-21, he started working in the newspaper Independent, published from Prayagraj. He also helped his father in bringing out Young India and Navajivan. Devdas Gandhi died on 3rd August 1957 in Mumbai. AIR News pays tribute to the nationalist leader Devdas Gandhi.
We also remember the freedom fighter Munawwar Khan. He was a resident of Hisar, Haryana. Munawwar worked as a sepoy in the 7th Haryana Light Infantry of British Indian Army. He took part in fighting against the British during the First War of Independence in 1857.
He played an active part in organizing fighting at Sirsa. Munawwar was caught by the British troops on charge of mutiny against the British rule. He was convicted and sentenced to death on 3rd August 1857. We salute the brave martyr Munawwar Khan.
We also pay tribute to Raja Pratap Singh. He was the Raja of Kullu who participated in the First War of Independence in 1857. Raja Pratap Singh captured British strongholds and declared his kingdom to be free from the British dominance. However, later he was captured by the British forces and executed on 3rd of August 1857. We salute the brave martyr Raja Mahendra Pratap.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
The Supreme Court has asked the Centre, the Election Commission of India, Senior Advocate Kapil Sibal and petitioners to submit their suggestions within a week on the composition of an expert body that will examine how to regulate freebies and submit a report. The top court said there is a need for an apex body consisting of Niti Aayog, Finance Commission, ruling and opposition parties, the RBI and other stakeholders to make suggestions on how to control freebies by political parties during the election campaigns.
President Draupadi Murmu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur have congratulated the members of the Indian badminton team for winning the silver medal in the mixed team event at Commonwealth Games. On day 6 of the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, India's star players, including Nikhil Zareen, Manpreet Kaur and Mohammad Hasmuddin, will be in action today. Women's cricket team will also hog the limelight. In the first match for Team India today, Vidul Borgohain is currently playing Chris Locke of Falkland Islands in the men's singles and lawn bowls. After 10 ends of throws in round 2 game, Vidul was leading 15-4 when reports last came in. In the women's pairs category, Lovely Chaube and Nayan Moni Saikia extended their lead over news pair of Hina Rireti and Olivia Eunice Buckingham to 10-4 after 9 ends of throws. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. India achieves landmark milestone with over 75,000 startups recognized so far. Lok Sabha adjourned till 2 p.m. amidst ruckus by Congress, DMK and left members. India to have road infrastructure like America by 2024, says Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari in Rajya Sabha. Government says digital payment transactions register unprecedented growth in the country. Nearly 3,300 crore transactions recorded in current financial year so far. Bombay High Court transfers probe into 2015 killing of activist Govind Pansare from SIT to ATS Maharashtra. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu flags off a Har Ghar Tiranga bike rally by members of Parliament from the historic Red Fort in Delhi. Suresh N. Patel sworn in as the Central Vigilance Commissioner. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reaches Cambodia for the Indian ASEAN ministerial meeting. U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi meets Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen in Taipei, and in Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, women's cricket team to be in action today. And with that we end the midday news.